Well, good morning. This is a great day. I think most days are great days, but today is an especially great day because I was able to be with 28 people this morning, looking at their faces on Zoom, which reminded me of a time when I belonged to a church. And in that church, at the end of the service, we would all get up from our seats and we would form a circle and we would recite a poem together and we would stare in each other's faces. And it always made me feel at home, that these were the people I loved. These were the people I was committed to being part of a community with. And that's how I felt this morning. And the reason those people were together was because they're committing to write the templates of the language of creation together for 7 weeks, starting with our template 7, which is an embodiment template. And when we embody something, we are holding it in the entirety of our field. We are being it in every fiber of our being. And when we write that template, it is often the phrases that appear come to us not as a logic, but as a knowing. That is the correct phrase. And in that unpacking of that knowing, we learn more about the depth of the field that we exist in and the depth of the field that we are craving. And this template 7, all the people are going to write it this week. And then next week, they're going to come together again. And they're going to hear about template 6, which is called being one with creation. And based on what they wrote in template 7, they're going to write a template 6. The following week, a template 5. The following week, a template 4, 3, 2, 1 for the 7 weeks. Why? Because there's magnificent depths of knowing in our being that we just don't pay attention to. And it's not because we're deliberate about it. Well, because we're not deliberate about it, probably. And there is so much more to being a human being than doing the dishes, taking the kids to school, and doing our job. And it's when we take the time to write our own creation exercises, which is what we call when you have followed the template. Now, the templates for the first 6 of the language of creation start with use a basic formula of craving something, create something else. Let's say it creates B, creating B, sustains and maintains C, sustaining, maintaining C, embodies X. And in each of these creation exercises, there's 4 recursions. So you end up all these phrases that A, B, C, X are life-enhancing, life-generating phrases that you write for you. It's not a life-generating phrase for me, it's for you. So you have written probably 12 different phrases around that one craving by the time you've written a full creation exercise. And the field of that word, of that craving, begins to vibrate with a greater energy. That's what it feels like energetically. It feels like you're accessing your deeper wisdom, a part of you that you really hadn't paid attention to. That's true for me. And a lot of people who write them, most people who write them, everybody who writes them. And in that, we have our brain, from strictly on a technical basis, our glial neural networks now have that idea of that one craving. Let's say it's a red convertible, now has 12 different descriptors of what would be life enhancing and life generating around the idea of a red convertible. Now, we're writing template 7 on a more etheric field. We're saying, who or what I am, who and what I am as a multidimensional being embodied, which is different than the red convertible, and it's not. In that we want to see everything behind that craving. What is it? All the different phrases that are actually inside of us that will describe for us what is life enhancing and life generating about embodying that phrase, that idea. God, it's wonderful. It's an amazing process to be present to your own deepest wisdom. It's an amazing process to give your mind more choice. My mind, when I say red convertible, now has all sorts of things about it, 12 different ones, phrases about what that could be. Now, the second part of writing a craving exercise is to write an observing or an observing being exercise. Why? Because it's like a GPS system. If you're telling your highest wisdom, if you're telling your highest spirit, if you're telling creation that this is what I really want in this world, then you also have to say, this is where I am. I don't have any money. I'm not sure what kind of car I want. But normally so an observing can be negative, it can be positive, it can just be your response to reading or recursion. It can also be something that you just do in the moment when you have looping thoughts or looping emotions. So the templates of the language of creation are extremely powerful. I find them the easiest thing to use. When I have looping thoughts or emotions, I find them the quickest way that I access my own deepest wisdom about something, and they help me track where I am in the world and where I want to go. Like I said, I think our minds are like historic warehouses, right? They remember this lifetime. They have all of the things that the world has told us about what is and what isn't right. And those may not be ones that you personally have experienced. It was a factoid put in your brain, okay? And we spent a lot of times in our youth, probably from age 2 on up, being socialized and knowing what our society, our family, our religion, our community, say is what is true. We listen to what they tell us about us, and we listen to what they tell us about the rest of the world, and we mark it in a category called true. Well, that can really limit us for the rest of our lives about our ability to think on our own, to think our own thoughts. And the only time that I've found that that's easy to punch out of that or shake that off or get those aberrant thoughts out of your brain is through the creation exercises. Because we are so used to thinking with what has already been given us to think. My dad was a nuclear physicist, and he used to tell me that for any one problem, there are multiple answers. He says, but scientists and people, regular people, the mistake they make is thinking that there is only one answer to the problem, and then they tell everybody else that that's the only answer, when the truth is there's a whole field of answers for any problem. So remember that the next time you look at something and you think, there's no other way, I promise you there's another way. If you're interested in saying, now what is this thing called the language of creation? And you might be and you're interested in what are these templates, then go to our website. It's called the Language of Consciousness Institute. And the address is www.loc-institute.com. And join us. look at purchasing our guidebooks. We sell all 6 for digital copies for only $55. We have monthly events where you can just come and join with others and listen as they talk about their experiences and their challenges with the creation exercises. Mostly it's sharing how they have opened them up to the more of them. And that's usually on the third Sunday of the month. It's called the Template Wisdom Gathering. Look at our events page. You'll also see an event that we're doing right now, which is embodiment and emergence and embodiment. As you emerge, as your greater spirit merges, you become to embody it. And that's what we're all after. It's a great day. That's what I started with, and that's what I'll end with. And I thank you very much for listening to this, my conversation this morning. Have a wonderful day.